Hi, my name is Timo,
And I'm Ploy.
and we are International
International
Pulse.
Pulse.
We're here to talk about international student lives abroad in foreign countries.
And we're here to share the real talk.
So yeah, let's grab your coffee, popcorn, and let's get into it. This is International Pulse. And today we have an extra special guest. She's an ex-Deloitte and now she's studying in UK. She moved from Thailand and her name is Cream.
Hello,
Hey.
Yay!
yay!
Hi.
Hi,
Yeah.
hi
How are
guys.
you
Hi
doing,
Timo. Hi
Cream? Yeah.
Ploy. I'm great. Thank you for having me. I was really looking forward to having this talk with you guys.
Oh, before we actually begin, can you introduce us again about like your background, just so that the audience know who are you again?
Yes, sure. So hello everyone. My name is Cream. Just like ice cream. Which is interestingly would rhyme with Timo. In Thai.
Yeah.
So I'm actually
Oh, that's right. That's actually right.
yes, yeah, so I'm a subset of him in Thai language. But yeah, anyway, so Timo and I we were friends back in high school, and we actually studied
Hmm.
the same thing back in our undergrad. So I also did communications. However, I majored in public relations. And then I went
Ooh.
on, after graduation, I went on to become a business consultant at Deloitte Consulting, Bangkok, Thailand. I spent there about 3 years, and now I am studying my master's in the UK. Towards the end of my master's now, and the master's is I've always struggled to describe what I'm study to other what I study to other people. The full name is Prosperity, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship. But I mostly tell
Mm.
people that it's about like social business, social entrepreneurship, or like studying about business that does good for the society. And we can get
Okay.
into that a little bit more after that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, that's
Very
really
interesting.
awesome.
That's I never heard of that major before.
Neither did I a year ago. But yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, now that's really cool. Again, me and Kareem is like we were best friends when we were in, since high school, and I think it's because of our name is similar. That's why we hang out. But yeah.
Right. You know what? My like just fun fact. Like, so my best friend in high school, we have the same name. Her name is
Oh
Ploy.
really?
Oh, wow. Double
Yeah.
points.
So
Yeah.
maybe it attracts something. I don't know.
Yeah. The ice
Yeah,
creams have to stick together.
Oh
It's the
yeah,
rule of the
it
universe.
always comes with cream.
as
Yeah.
well as the ploys need to
The
stick
ploys.
together.
Deploy.
Yeah, we
The
are
double
the
ploys.
ploys.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, I can get started. So, first of all, I know that you are currently in the UK, and how many years
Mhm.
you've been in UK again?
So far I've been here for about almost 11 months now. And this is like the first time I'm actually like living, studying like in the UK slash abroad. I've been to the UK like, like just traveling 2 times before, but that was like
Mm,
ages ago. So even like after a few years, I can certainly feel that there's like, like there's a difference as when it comes to like how it feels to be here again too.
yeah,
But yeah.
totally. It's like study abroad journey is like big. So like you definitely learn a lot. So first of all, what inspired you to study in the UK in the first place?
It's actually like a really, really long personal history for me. I mentioned just now that I've traveled here a few times and back in high school, like fun fact, Timo and I like studied like Japanese as our major. But then I don't know, like I think like second year into high school, there was like this like overwhelming urge to I don't know, like I got into this phase in my life where I romanticized, like the UK, the British culture, and like the education system, and like you watch perhaps too much Benedict Cumberbatch, and listen to a little bit, like Britpop, and you're like, oh, suddenly you want to go to the UK
Like,
or something
oh
like that,
yeah.
you know, and like there was something like really really like appealing about the idea of like going to like a like the Western, not Western, but perhaps like like a European country, and like a country that had such rich history and culture, and like it was like
Oh.
yeah. And then I guess I even thought about pursuing my so like A level, which is like like the 2 years before you went to uni in
Oh.
UK. I
uh huh.
apply. actually got like some scholarships and almost like decided to move here. But,
Mm-hmm.
it was like the same time that my older brother was about to come and study his master's here as well. And it was
Okay.
like, it's just a lot of like financial strain too for my family. And I decided, yeah, maybe it's better to just stick to undergrad in Thailand, and then, I'll probably come back in my master. So it's like it's something that has been on my like life agenda for so long. And then
Hmm.
yeah, like even after, like at first I thought I wanted to come to study my master's in UK right after I graduate my undergrad. And then obviously COVID happened. And
Yeah.
then that, like I got a job in consulting, and I was like, oh, I wanted to, like maybe, like find my footing in the professional world a little bit. I'll stay for a year or two. And then just enough to figure out what I wanted to study. And I actually explore like other countries to go to. And like actually like I never considered like the US before. It's like really not my style. And but yeah, I did consider like a lot of other like European countries, especially in the first round of like searching. I was leaning towards more like business with sustainability, because that
Mm.
was like what I was doing a little bit with my consulting background. And like with Europe, they have like a pretty stronger background when it comes to like sustainability. So I look into like like other places, but still I find my heart. Oh, it sounds so cringy now. Like I don't even love it that much. But then I feel like I sort of went back to like my first choice, which is the UK. Sorry, it was like a pretty long-winded
No,
answer.
it's
Yeah, that's
okay.
great, actually.
You know what? I'm gonna say this first. I really enjoy your accent. It is so
Oh,
Yeah,
British.
like I
It
like
is so.
really? I don't think.
I love
No, I
it.
don't
I
think
think
so.
it
Yeah?
sounds very
No.
posh. Like actually, I always like
No.
love. I always love like
No.
British accent since the first place. I feel like it sounds very like posh and like
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
When you come to
Interesting.
the US, it sounds like American. Like
Interesting you say that. Interesting is you guys say that, because I really don't think my accent is like British by any definitions. And like I have been asked by many people like coming here, like they were like, "Are you American or Canadian by any chance?" And I'm
oh,
like,
really?
"No." Yeah, because like to them, I think it's like a much stronger, like a different sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
accent. But
I
yeah,
think your accent's kind of like a mix between
a
like
little, yeah, a little bit
Yeah.
of
yeah,
mix.
you would have
Yeah.
some words that you pronounce in British way, and you would have some
Mm-mm.
that sounds kind of American. So I think
Yeah.
for them, there was you would sound American, more American. But
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're when
When
us
you
like
when
me and
when you
Timo,
guys.
we listen to you, we feel like it sounds more like British
I
because you have
see.
some British.
But that's
Yeah.
like one word though that I feel like I caught myself saying in such a non, like a very American way, which is water. It's just
Water,
Oh.
I keep
water,
saying like, because like I feel
water.
like I find myself, yeah, saying all the time like, "Oh, would you like a glass of water?" And then like, and my boyfriend's like British, and he's like, no. But
So you're
yeah,
supposed to
but
say like
yeah.
water, like with the T,
Yeah, yeah, but like it's not that like strongly enunciated. It's like water. And like, do you want to,
water, water.
water? It's just, like when you find the skits or reels like on social media when they do
Yeah.
like accent comparison, and it'll
Water.
be like, do you want a bottle of water? And it's never really that strong. Especially, I don't know, at least because I live in London, and like
Oh
it's
yeah,
so multicultural here. You don't
yeah,
really see it in your face that much.
yeah.
But
I
yeah.
was about to ask as well, like what part, because I know that different part in UK have different accent.
Yeah,
Like some of them they
certainly,
don't pronounce
sure.
the T, so it might be like
Mm-mm.
water,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's more
like
like
water.
the, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the
So yeah,
Scots
I
Oh
mean, yeah,
wow.
I think that's
talking.
a word
Yeah.
that American kind of
That's,
make fun
Mm.
a lot with
yeah.
water.
No, no, yeah.
That's
Thank you for
really
that.
cool.
Mm.
I mean, I'm really glad that everything worked out, and now you're in the UK pursuing your masters. Whatever decision and fate, it brought you here. So there is a
Mm-hmm.
reason for that. Let's ask, what does it feel like when you got here? Like, how do you feel any like culture shock,
Mm.
misunderstanding, or the changes, the transition when actually living here full time? How was it like?
Yeah. Again, this is something that I've mentioned to Timo and Ploy off camera. I feel like for my case, like very like it might be a bit unique, and I don't know how applicable it is to listeners. But for me, as mentioned, that I've always known that I wanted to come, one, to study abroad, and two, specifically in the UK. I've had lots of time, like to prepare, so like my mental space, and like look around of what is the reality of me coming to. So like I knew in advance that um for example, what are the possible living arrangement, which I feel is like the number one of like the top reasons of how that affect your um, experience of being an international student. Obviously, you can find a studio room where you can live by yourself, or like you can
Mm.
find like a share accommodation. For me, because I knew, like I applied really early, I got accepted really early, and then I also quit my job very early because I just couldn't do it anymore. So I had like a lot of free time on my hand. So like searching
Hmm.
around of like where I could live. And I think like I don't know how it is in the US, and I assume that it's the same way when it comes to like flat hunting or like like finding your apartment, that it goes very quickly, and it's something that it's almost impossible to do from abroad because they would require you to like go to viewings um
Yeah.
Yeah.
right away. Yeah. And like I try to do that, like in a few months before I come. And then I feel like a lot of international students fall into the trap of, feeling like they have to figure that out very early
Mm.
before they come. So they just sign up for like a studio. And then, like the I think the property, like the flat, the real estate market in especially in London is like crazy, and I'm sure it's the same over there as well. But like it's just like you pay so much money for just like a shoebox room. And I
Oh my
think
god.
like yeah, lots of my international student friends, they study, they live in like a studio flat, which is like so tiny, and then they get
Yeah.
like boxed and like in a square by themselves. And then I think that really affects their like living quality. For me, I was like really fortunate that when I was like looking for places, obviously I was like looking around on like like flat sites and stuff. But then I also posted on my like social media circles. And then another friend from high school, my really good friend Annie, who moved abroad like yeah a few years back, and now she's like also living and working interestingly in Deloitte too. But yeah,
Mm.
Oh.
she was like one of her
Oh.
flatmates just moved out. Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, would you be interested in coming to stay with us?" And that was like probably the best decision that I've made. um, yeah. Okay, I have to actually think back about your question, but I think it was more about a culture shock. But it's a very long-winded answer to. I think that was like the biggest decision that I made that affect like the whole journey, and that I sort of like made the decision really early that I wanted to live with people, just like to save a lot of
Sure.
money actually. And like
Yeah.
Definitely.
I enjoy like living friends, and it can come with such risks as well. Like people have warned me because I've never really lived or like share my space, which is very sacred to me. Like I'm a 100% homebody. But and
Mm.
yeah, like coming to live with people, especially people you don't know. Like I didn't know like the rest of my flatmates before coming here, so it could be a big risk. But yeah, that was really good decision. Sorry, I'm going to pause here
No.
in case you have other
Uh,
like a
keep
more
going.
specific
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. And I get that a lot. Like when we were living back in Thailand, we have
Mm,
like it's very abundant
your own
and you
room.
have like
Yeah.
space to yourself and everything. But when you
Mm,
come here, especially if you're like studying and you're starting really, really small, most of the
mm,
time like you get to share, you get to like live with
Totally.
someone
Yeah.
else. And
yeah.
that's really the first struggle, like apart from
Mm,
like the culture shocks and everything. So
mm,
yeah. Well, let's get into like academic experience a little bit. I know that you're
mm,
studying entrepreneur and business school there, right? It
mm.
should be intense. So tell me more about that side. What it's like studying in the UK compared to like Thailand, the
Sure.
education system overall.
Yeah, definitely. I think there are so many layers to that question. First of all, it came as a shock to me, I guess, like to as anyone, the fact that I felt like okay, let me start again. So I chose this degree, which is called Prosperity and Entrepreneurship, because I thought it was a mixed blend of, like business school and a little
Mm.
bit more focus around, like social development and, like prosperity and stuff. But I thought that it would be grounded in business school. And upon coming here, I actually understood that, oh, it's actually a very separate school.
Oh,
UCL obviously has a very big like business and management school, which we are not a part of that. We are, however, actually, the department I'm studying is called the Institute of Global Prosperity. So the heart is
Uh-huh.
actually
wow.
about, like global development and how, like prosperity is defined in, like different like dimensions and like different metrics, and entrepreneurship is just like a one way to drive that the development forward. So I guess like the main, I honestly cannot tell if it's like the key differentiator of a UK education system, or it's just my school because it's such a social degree.
Okay.
But what I really, really liked about the degree is that it really values like the diverse, how do you call it? Diverse philosophy, even when it comes to like education. Because we study the word prosperity, we really, we or them, they really value the difference when it comes to like, like values.
Mm-hmm.
It even taught about how education is not like objective, meaning that there's a different way to look at knowledge. And then I think that's such a different education system like compared to Thai, or I guess like other education systems, where here is like the curriculum, here's
Hmm.
the learning outcomes that you're supposed to get,
Yep.
and here is defined, here's like how your like learning outcomes are defined. Whereas I feel like coming to the UK, and especially to this class, it's really challenged you to think in a way that serves you more. So it really embraced the fact that you might come from like different cultures, and in your culture you may like define, like prosperity or development differently, and sort of like shapes the way we think about business entrepreneurship around that. For example, I don't know if I'm getting too much into details here, but for example,
No, there
when
is
you
not too
when
much here.
oh, when we think about like entrepreneurship, right? We often think about, like the tech bros and like finance bro, like like tech savvy startups, and we really, really want what they do here is like really challenge how that view is very, very. It could be very limited and biased, and even harmful to a different forms of development, or like businesses out there, because like we study the forms of like community based venture, and how sometimes like innovation can be in a form of something that is already done, like it could be done maybe like years ago in other places in the world, but it can be something very unique to your community, and that is also just as valuable, if not
Mm.
more. So yeah, to summarize, I feel like, again, I don't know if it's the UK system. I think it's a lot to do with the UK system, but also specifically the course that I chose to study. It's very
Yeah.
much challenging the way you think, challenging the system of value that you operate in, and how how you have the agency. This is something that I've never heard of before. Like you have the agency to think or challenge the norms in which you operate in. I
Oh.
don't know if I
Wow.
convey that.
Yeah,
uh,
I think I get it. I think that's really interesting, and I agree that it's like very different from the Asian and Thai kind of like curriculum, where it's
Yeah.
like very restricted. And I would say personally, as like U.S. study, but I study like
mhm.
engineer. Engineer
Yeah.
is like strict in a way. You have expected outcome. You can
Mm,
try to steer away, but at the end of the day, it's designed to go
Yeah.
produce like a certain skill set that you have,
mm,
but
mm,
it doesn't like give that much agency as you have
mm,
described. Is it the
yeah.
same way you did Ploy in your like marketing
Um,
analytics?
Not that much. I feel like in the US is I don't know. I feel like it's come in the same foundation in a way because like business is something very like flexibles and like very require a lot
Mhm,
of like creativities. So it's like there is no right, like nothing like completely right or nothing completely wrong. So
mhm,
like as long as you can prove your point, it's just okay, you're good. Something along those lines. But
mhm,
I think it's more chill. Yeah, as I heard. I think it depends on like it might have something to do with your major as well because your major
mhm.
seem more like niche in a way. But
Very,
in
very
my
niche.
major,
Yeah.
I study marketing analytics, so it's more
Mhm,
like definitely more like flexible and require a lot of creativities. Even though you come up with like I don't want to say like stupid idea, but if you can prove your point, well, you're
mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Now then, Cream, what is your favorite class? And
Oh,
why is it your favorite ones?
wow. Mm, that's a
Nothing?
that's a
None.
that's that's very difficult. I guess. A class to pinpoint. One thing that actually came as a shock to me is how few classes we have. Actually, like in the entire year, we only have like 6 classes spreading across the 3 terms. Because like,
Oh,
like when I was like looking at the class options out there, I really wanted to obviously maximize the money
yeah.
and the time here. And I was like, oh, look at, like the different classes that I thought at first I thought we could choose 6 in 1 term, which is like 3 months. But then I realized it's actually six
Uh
in a
huh.
year. But yeah, and
Oh.
like it's really structured in a way that in term one you study about more about the how do you call it, more like the structure, the philosophy behind the way you think about entrepreneurship and social development,
Yep.
whereas in the second term they actually bring in like real social entrepreneurs, and invite them to give more like lectures about how they came up with their like social business ideas and how they frame and design the product and how they like roll out the entire like business. And I think I probably cannot say the name of the classes, but I can, like for example, I definitely love when they bring in like real speakers, and then they talk about their struggles with their businesses and how like how it's been like rewarding. They when we do Q&A, actually there's like, apart from the classes, sometimes they do this like they call it skills and development sessions, where it's not entirely mandatory, but then they bring in what do you call it, like academics from like other schools as well. For example, our school is global prosperity, but we have a lot of like academic they have a lot of academic friends or professors from the school of public policy, for example. So sometimes they
Wow.
invite like, yeah, speakers from that department to come in and give some lectures. And there was like one specific like seminar slash session that I still think about often, is that they actually invite like a group of indigenous people, indigenous leaders. I think
Mm.
they're like a very, very like small community of, I think within the world today, they have only like a few thousands of people within their like indigenous community. And because the school works the researcher on the school actually works on the ground with them directly for years now, and they have actually invited them to London to give like to do like more collaboration together. And they were like doing something really cool, like they were exploring how to use VR technology to visualize the like indigenous knowledge, because they believe that when they do like their chanting, like when they pray to the gods, they will see like certain visions, and they're actually bringing in like VR to bring that vision to life and to actually
Ooh.
maintain the heritage for
Wow.
like culture's generation. But that's not like the most fun, not fun, but like the most memorable bit. I think the memorable bit is when like the elders actually perform the chanting in the classroom, which was chants that they do every day where they pray to the gods.
Mm.
And then they were telling us that they believe that the reason why the world is still running and it hasn't like exploded long time ago is because they're still performing
Hmm.
this chants to the gods like every day. And it just like totally shifted
Mm.
Nice.
my like my worldview, because just because like we live in the world where like science is like the biggest like source of education and
Yeah.
value, that we think that's how the world is running by. But it doesn't mean that like the different ways of worldviews and how they think, how different people, how people from different communities think about the realities of the world. Yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for. Like um it really taught me about how there are more than one realities to the world. And then like it could
Ooh.
might be very well be the fact that we are all living is the fact that like small, that one community in the world is still praying to the gods. It might very well be that we just like it's just not our worldview. But yeah, it was like something that really stuck with me and something that I thought was very unique to the specific cause that I choose to pursue.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's a really big perk of being like not only studying in the UK but like study abroad in generals, is that you would
Mhm.
meet a lot of like people from different backgrounds, and then that's how you kind of
Mhm.
like learn about the world better. Because to be honest, if you compare between like UK, US with Thailand where we're from, it's like Thailand is a
Mhm.
very unique culture on their own that we don't really
Mhm.
I think we don't learn much from like different cultures in Thailand that much, because you're
Yeah,
basically like
certainly.
like our culture is already rich in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So now,
Mm.
like when we all like move to different countries, we have to learn something new. I remember when I first came to the US, I learned like many things
Mm-hmm.
within the first couple months, and it's kind of
Yeah,
blew my mind. So yeah,
Hmm.
I think it's
totally.
very
Yeah.
important to yeah for that as well, especially when you work in like social entrepreneur
Mm-hmm.
field that
Mm-hmm.
you have to have like
Mm.
empathy and kind of understand
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Now I have my next question would be I know that like
Yes,
now
please.
you study about like social entrepreneurs and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very common for the school in the US to have a thing called like entrepreneurship incubators or like communities
Mm-hmm.
to kind of
Mm.
support business
Yeah.
ideas or someone who want to
Mm-hmm.
be an entrepreneur. So how about in the
Mm-hmm.
UK? Is it something similar applying to the UK as well?
Yeah. Certainly, I think most of the like the business schools we have in the UK would have like a similar venture. I think I
Oh yeah.
forgot to mention that I study at UCL, which is
Oh.
it's I would like to believe that it's one of the like the quite a rather big schools based in London. And therefore, like what is great about that is the fact that, which is also like the one of the key decision making factor when I chose here as well, is I know that there would be like an incubator that is based and funded by the university. And at UCL, actually, they have like a totally free entrepreneurship programs that are continuously run throughout the year, where students can. There are also like they are designed in different maturity for your business ideas as well. For example, if you're like totally new to entrepreneurship and you're just like you're just trying to explore what it's all about, there's like a totally beginner course designed for that. Whereas like if you actually have like a business idea, if you have like a working prototype, you have like a team, there's another like a level of support dedicated for that. And they also have this thing called a hatchery, which is more
Hmm.
um like they offer like free working space and mentorship where you can come in and work alongside other entrepreneurs. So yeah, we have like something similar to that as well.
Nice. Yeah, I
Wow.
think
Okay, that's really great. And I wanted to clarify. I was researching UCL, stand for University College London, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the ranking is like ninth in the world.
yeah,
The
it's
world
really
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
in UK. I'm like, oh my god,
yeah, it's huge.
it is
Thank
huge. It
you.
is huge.
I mean, that's what my mom likes to send me. Even like months after I'm here, I'm like, yes, mom, I know it by now. You don't have to keep telling me. But I guess it's like it's her joy of like I think it's like an
yeah.
Asian parents thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
But
same.
yeah,
is.
I think
Same.
also, just to preface though, I think the ranking comes mostly from um perhaps I mean I think still these days I still struggle to tell people what UCL is strong about. I think certainly medicine is something that UCL really stands out for because they have their own.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's like similar to Jula, where they have like a
Hmm.
medical school, and
Oh
then they
yeah.
also have their own like hospital. And it's literally
Uh-huh.
like located right opposite each other, and other like social development schools as well. Actually, oh, now that I speak about it, I remember that the school that we are studying in, like the department, sits under the built environment school, and I think they like to advertise that it's number one in the world. However, again, I don't think like my course is like exactly tied to that, but I can benefit from the
Okay.
ranking.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what people that's what people from my school put in their LinkedIn, even
Resume.
though we're
Oh.
not
Ooh.
exactly built environment. Yeah,
But yeah, but you're part of that.
hope yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it comes in handy at times.
Totally.
Okay.
All right. So now I think we're covered pretty much like academic field. So now let's jump into outside the classroom. So
Hmm.
when it comes to the UK, it's like, do you mind sharing about how you like built friendship, like making friends when you first came to the UK, or how's like what's a general's like professionals connections like networking in the UK looks like?
Hmm. Yeah, I think what's one thing that is really, really big about the UK culture is definitely the pub culture. And like,
Ooh.
yeah, especially during summer like this. Yeah, I'm looking out and it's like so summer right now. Everyone would be down for like a pint of beer. Like it's really big on hanging out in pubs and like going out for like some drinks and like get a little bit cheeky um on your way home, etc. However, I feel like that is more of like a social scene for the UK in general. But if you talk about international students' life, and I have to say, I think back to your question, Timo, about one of the culture shock or like the shock
Hmm.
factor I didn't realize how many Asian students there are gonna be. Like I knew that to some extent there will be a lot of Asian students, but I didn't know they would
Hmm.
be the majority of
Yeah.
the population.
How
So
many percent would you say
I
out of
mean,
100%?
I I feel like at least from my course, right? I didn't expect it to be that popular among Asian students.
Okay.
So I was a bit surprised to see that I think at least 80% of my classmates are like basically like Asian.
Whoa.
Like yeah, well, I'm not trying to throw shades or anything. It's just that when you come to like an education where you expect to learn from such a multicultural and diverse cohort, especially because my course really values the diverse like cultural or backgrounds, it was sort of underwhelming to see that you didn't get to learn as much from like your classmates in terms of like differences. But yeah, I that's why I guess where even though the country is really big on going out for beer, for pint, for drinks, when it depends on what crowds you hang out with as well. Because if you hang out with your like fellow Asian friends, they would be more down to going out to grab like boba tea or like hanging out in Chinatown. Literally yesterday, I went out for like a hot pot party
Ooh.
with my friends. It's really depends on who you hang out with.
Mm.
Okay. Wow. That's really cool. I mean, and I think it's understandable. It's a fact, not like your opinion. So you're justifiable to say
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel so
definitely.
conscious sometimes.
Hey.
All right.
Okay. So like, yeah, I think it's like totally like what Timo said. It's like this happened when you are like hanging out
Mm,
with international students, like fellows.
mm,
They are like more willing to like kind of explore new things with you, going out. How
mm,
about like what would you
mm.
say is your like favorite like hobbies outside of classroom that you like? I just want to explore like, what things you can do in the UK, basically. Like,
Mm.
what does people do?
Um, my experience is probably going to be very London based.
Oh, okay.
And London is like such a big city too.
Mm-hmm.
I know I again there are like I feel like there's so many things to do in the city. What I really love is just basically, like hop on the tube and like explore like new neighborhoods,
Oh.
especially um like when it comes to like the geographies of London, people would obviously that would be like the west side of London, east side of London, north and south London, and even within their own like sub geographies, there are like different characteristics or charms about the neighborhood. For example, if you study in Imperial and you would be based a little bit more west, and West London is a little bit more I guess if you would were to put it, it would be generally a little bit more posh, a little bit more, um, I guess like what you would describe as like middle class English, where you'd
Mm,
find, like very, very beautiful Victorian houses. It's a little bit less chaotic. It's a bit more, um, like a little bit classic of what you would imagine your life in London would your life coming to the UK would be. Whereas in East London, where I'm based in, it's a little bit more up and coming, a little recently gentrified, and we have a lot of like young professionals living here. There's a little bit more, not a little, there's more like diversity when it comes to like like the ethnic
yeah.
background of like who who live here. That would be, like some more hips area.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm definitely like an East London girly. And even within East London, there are like so many different, like areas within that. So yeah, I really love, live really close to this, train line, which is called the DRR. We have like so many, um, different transportation routes in London. And because I live so close to the DRR, sometimes I just enjoy, like hopping on the train and just explore like the new stations that I've never really been. And yeah, I think another thing that I really like about, life in London is that there's just so many parks.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's like really nice and summery, you just go out and take a walk, maybe yeah. And here it's like totally, acceptable to walk around or to take the public transport with like drinks in your hand, like, which is something that you would totally be frowned upon in Thailand, or not, even like unacceptable. But here, you could just grab a beer, get
Totally.
on a tube, yeah, and like sit by the park. And especially if you're like with friends, talk about life and stuff. That's like very, very perfect for a
Yeah.
day out
Whoa.
here. Hmm.
Whoa, Cream. You made me want to visit London. Like for
Oh,
real.
come now,
And
because in 2 months' time it will be miserable.
Aww.
and actually, like Shaem, she also
Ah,
studied in
yeah.
London, and she pretty
Yes,
much
yeah.
said the same thing you saying. Like
Mm,
she loved hanging out in the park, she loved taking
mm,
the tube, just exploring the city. I'm like,
certainly,
wow,
yeah,
okay. And you know
yeah.
what? Like the London that you're describing kind of
Mm-hmm,
resembles New York a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
But
mm-hmm,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
mm,
yeah, like they have like region, they have different, they have like
mm,
subculture and everything. They also have like
mm-hmm.
a tube, a subway, and
Subway, yeah.
like yeah. I just imagine that like from what you're saying, it feels like if you're in London and you come here to New York, the transition is
Mm-hmm,
like kind of seamless because
Yeah.
mm.
New York is London, was
Yeah, pretty
London.
much similar.
Mm,
Yeah.
right. Mm,
Wow. Okay, that's really cool. Now then, my next question is, when you hear a lesson like, I want to ask if your Thai identity has influenced anything in UK, like this being
mm-hmm,
Thai, make them treat you
mm-hmm,
differently or
mm,
say things differently.
mm. Um, yeah, totally. Are you talking about like racism, experiences, or because yeah, then I could frame my
I guess so.
answers a little
Yeah,
bit
pretty much.
Sure, we
differently.
Yeah,
can share.
I'm pretty much, but I'm just trying to be polite. So.
Oh yeah, you totally didn't have to be. But yeah, I guess, uh I feel like n- I mean, like, it's 2025 now, and I think I'm
Mm.
very fortunate to, at least in this year, I've never faced like a very like obvious blatant form of racism, especially in London, where I guess it would be very similar to New York in terms that
Hmm.
it's such a cultural, hub. And you pretty much, if you walk after, like 5-10 minutes, you walk into like different communities, and people certainly didn't look like you. But I guess like it comes a little bit more in the form of what you would call it, like microaggressions, or sometimes people
Mm.
make assumptions about what you might or might not know
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
based
yeah,
on
yeah.
where you come from. And I remember there were times where, like, I would get a little bit, not exactly offended, but a little bit confused as to why they would ask questions that are, like, sometimes so basic to me. Like,
Uh huh.
there are times when, like, my British friends would ask, like, if I know this word,
Oh, okay.
which is like so basic. um but then I feel like, obviously, I got a little bit like, why would you ask me that? But then I after like knowing them, I think it's more to do with the fact that they're being mindful in their own way about the cultural
Hmm.
differences, and then
Yeah,
they're being
yeah.
curious about what we've been through. But yeah, I do remember that, like, when I first moved into the neighborhood, and my neighborhood is actually an area that is very, 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 like, a large Bangladeshi community.
Mm.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's like, I'm actually the minority, the very minority. Like, even my white friends are the minority here. And I remember,
Mm.
like, looking for like a gym where I can subscribe to, where I can go often. And like, when you're like a woman going to the gym, right? I think peace of mind is very like important. Like you really wanted to just be in your own way and didn't
Mm,
really wanted to be, especially if when you go for workouts, you want to dress a certain way that make you feel like comfortable but also
Yeah.
empowered. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make sure that it's the walk towards the gym is somewhere I feel safe in my own like clothes. And then I remember like just scouting this like one area, and then I felt so seen because I really look like I didn't belong there. It was like a really
Oh
big like
my.
Muslim community.
Oh
And
yeah.
then like right after I went out from the gym where I was like asking around. After I stepped out, like I got approached by I think in London, if you come to London, you have to also be very, very careful. I think depending on which area you are,
mhm.
like lately, like crimes are really high. Again, like I'm not like linking facts, but these are like the the sadly the truth about the city in general, where you have to be a little bit mindful about where you put your belongings, like when
Totally.
you take your
Oh.
phones out. And then I got approached, so I naturally I got very wary, and I didn't ask anything, but they just like like this man was like approaching me, so I got a little bit scared. So I
Yeah.
ended up not going to that gym. And I remember sharing this experience with my friend, and like they were telling me that, oh, maybe they weren't trying to be like they weren't trying to be rude, but it's just the fact that um yeah, maybe the fact that you feel like they are being rude, it's just you're not used to it and they didn't mean any harm. And I thought long and hard about that, whether or not that's like that's invalidating my experiences, or am I actually like jumping to assumptions about what people were trying to get at. But at the end of the day, I think, to answer your question of whether or not people treat me a little bit differently, I think it's very difficult to pinpoint at times. And if it did, it manifests more so in a way that is subtle. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's definitely a learning, a, a journey of learning, still through this day, where I'm still exploring where the boundaries are, and where to get offended and not offended. I guess.
Wow. Okay. Is well. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry that that
Mhm.
happened. Well, at
Thank
least you're
you.
safe, and always like when you're in a foreign country, safety comes first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well then,
totally. Yeah.
yeah, again, thank you for sharing that. I wanted to like zip quickly here because we're running a little bit out of time. I wanted to
Right.
talk specifically about internship and career. I know that you're
Mm-hmm.
still studying, but what is like opportunities after graduation in UK? Do you have like a roadmap? And does being international students make a difference in job hunting over there?
Oh, certainly. I would try to share as much as I can, even
Okay.
though I feel like my route is going to be a little bit different than the rest of the international students in the UK here. But if you are looking to stay after graduation, there would likely be two main routes. One is
Mm-hmm.
the graduate visa, where if you are a student in the UK, you are entitled to apply for a graduate visa scheme that would allow you to stay and work for any capacities of job for 2 years. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, the visa is very costly on its own. Yeah. And then the other route is to get a sponsorship, which I think is similar to the US route, where basically your employer will have to pay a hefty cost and then to sponsor you and then to get that visa for you, which is definitely a much more difficult route to get that option. Yeah, for me specifically, I think I might be leaning more towards getting the graduate visa, because it gives a little bit more flexibility, and also the fact that I am um, actually exploring my like side gig slash like startup idea,
Mm.
where yeah, so that would give me a little bit of time to um, still perhaps finding a full-time job, where at the same time I'm trying to grow my project thing, yeah, as an entrepreneur. Yeah. Oh, I still
Nice.
feel cringy saying that. Yeah.
I think we're in the
Well,
same boat, actually.
yeah, we are in pretty
We're
the
in the
same
same
boat.
boat.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, me and
amazing.
Ploy
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
exploring entrepreneurship route in the US,
mm-hmm,
and it's
Hmm.
even
mm,
more challenging being an immigrant, being an
mm,
international student.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the visa options that you have is kind of similar to the US,
Yeah,
but
mm,
I'm surprised that like for the US, I'm just gonna say the
mm-hmm.
number. To get a working visa, you have to pay 470 US dollar to get like your
470.
OPT.
Wow.
How
yeah.
much is it
Wow.
like if you can share
470.
to get a
Mm,
working visa?
I just don't know to convert in US dollar, but I think for 2 years, I think it's about 3,000 pound in
Oh my
total.
god! What?
3,000 pound.
Huh?
Wow. Now
Three
I feel
thousand
a bit
pound,
better.
which is about
Yo,
120,000 baht, I think.
that's a lot. I mean, no,
That's
I
a lot.
just yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah, but
sorry. How much was it in the US again? I thought you
well,
said.
like no, actually, if you talk about like work visa, like if you compare with
Yeah.
like H-1B or like
Mm-hmm.
EB-2 in the US, is pretty much
Yeah.
similar though. Because in the US,
Mm,
I think if it's like EB-2, if you want to apply for green
mm,
card visas, it's
mm,
like probably 4,000 at least.
mm-hmm.
Like it's
Oh.
not for 2 years. It's for like for maybe
Uh,
not for good, but like you have to renew it probably every 3 years
right. I
or
see.
something. But like
Yeah.
for the 470 is like the for STEM OPT.
Mm,
Yeah, that and
I
that would be
see.
for 2 years. But there are some other like
Yeah.
conditions and rules that I'm not gonna touch it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's around that.
No, 470 is for the first OPT. And to extend the STEM OPT, you need to pay another 470, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So we paid two times. And I
oh
just did
no.
the conversation. Oh my god, okay. We're not gonna touch it today. This is not about the US.
It's a whole different episode.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
well,
okay.
just to clarify, the 3,000 is inclusive of the visa and also the NHS, which is
Hmm.
basically the insurance to the UK's like national health system. So that's why it's very pricey.
That's
And
kind of
yeah, I
unique
don't
to
know
the
how.
UK. We don't have that.
Yo, we
So
don't
what
have
so what
that.
so what happens when you guys get sick? Do you have to pay for? Oh,
We
I don't know if it's.
Yeah, basically. So actually, like, we know the medicals in the US is so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
Mm-hmm.
like insurance. Like if you're a student under F1, like
Mm,
when you're still in school, I think most school would require you to
right.
pay for insurance, and usually it's provided by school. Like school would give you option.
Mm,
This is a insurance for
right.
international student. But once you
Mm.
graduated, you're on your own. So most people
Oh
would
shit.
have like would get the insurance
From
from like
work.
their
Yeah.
from work
Wow.
employers.
Oh.
But if you're a freelancer, so then it would be
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't sound very secure. Oh.
Welcome
Uh,
to the US.
yeah,
totally.
that's the yeah, I wanted to get a little bit into that because yeah, that's like one of the big charge that you have to pay as a student in UK. However, like so far after 10 months here, I've actually had to go to like, to get like medical diagnosis 3 times already. And
Hey.
so far, like even though the NHS has been roasted in every imaginable way about how like they're so overworked and then they didn't have like good service mind, etc. I've had like my personal experience has been very very good. Everyone took care of me so well. That there was no discrimination because like yeah, like when when I first came here, which was like early October, no, sorry, like end of October, early September, I got like I got really bad like skin conditions, and
Oh,
when it went into winter, it got really worse. Like I like get like bloody patches on my
Oh
skin just
no.
because like the difference, and I have to go to the doctor, and then they were like they wanted to make sure they thought there was nothing malignant, but they wanted to be sure. So they sent me to like a specific cancer
Huh?
infrastructure to test for skin cancer.
Oh
And then yeah,
yeah.
there were a lot of nurses and doctors came in. I was like, oh, don't worry, this is not cancer. However, we're going to yeah. So I think in a way, I feel like yeah, we are paying for that extra care as well. So, yeah.
hmm. Which is
Well,
Um.
kind of makes sense
Yeah.
though.
yeah.
I think when
Mhm.
like, in the big countries like this, I think it is
Mm-hmm.
very like reasonable to have such a good care for medicals, because
Mm-hmm.
in the US, like for example, if you don't have insurance and you happen to get sick
Mm.
and you go to the hospital, you would be like
Yeah.
in debt
You'll be
probably
in
the rest
debt.
of your life.
Mm. Mm.
Generational debt.
Yeah.
Oh.
So expensive.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I
Mm.
think it definitely is something that I think the government have to consider.
Wow,
Mm.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
at least Cream, you get your money worth.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We're I am proud of you. All Asians are
Thank
proud of you.
thank you. I'm making my money back from my insurance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay. All right. So now, as you are already in the UK, do you have any advice
Mm-hmm.
to give it to any Thai students who probably want to, go to the same route as you, going to the UK, study their master?
Mm-hmm.
Any advice for them?
Wow. I wonder if I'm in any position to give
Position.
advice.
You are
But
there.
Something you wish you knew, or someone
mm,
have told you earlier.
yeah, I feel like I guess at the end of the day, the number one priority of coming here is the education, right? And I would really want anyone to take the full benefit of being here and being surrounded by, like, at the end of the day, it's such world-class education. And I feel like, as I mentioned, a lot of people in my cohorts like they're from Asian backgrounds, and sometimes they're not that encouraged to speak up. And I think by doing that, you're doing yourself a disservice by, not fully pushing yourself to explore, the academic um capabilities of being here. I really love when I get to explore like different ideas in the classrooms and even beyond classroom, especially beyond classrooms. Like I think I'm really
Hmm.
lucky to have such good friends at home and at school as well. Sometimes, especially now that we're in the final stretch of our master's year, every one of us is like individually writing their own dissertation, and some people are just like they didn't have like people to hang out with and stuff. I think it's a good time to like reach out to friends, hang out, bounce ideas. And I feel I feel like the opportunity to be a student would probably not come, at least for me, not again in this lifetime, where you didn't really have to think to
Oh, no
not
more.
have the yeah to like there are times when I don't remember if these are like Tuesday or Sunday because it didn't matter if you're not working. But yeah, I think it's going to sound very generic, but like make the most out of um yeah the time you have. And especially I'm always like someone who really values personal relationships. I think it's a good time to reflect on your like growth and like kind of friendships you have. Yeah, so I don't know, that sounds very generic, but
Mm. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's really true, and I still agree a lot. Like you have a trouble to come here, so you better use it. Like
Mm,
the advantage of coming here is really interesting and unique.
thank
So
you.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, before we move, that was like a motto that I live by these
Hmm.
days,
Yeah.
where I feel like so like last month I came across a lot of rejections for like the ideas that I was like pursuing and like the job side of thing as well. And then at the same time there were lots of opportunities that emerged from that, and sometimes it's not something that came immediately after. So I started to shift towards seeing life as in, like what I'm doing in the everyday life might be like I'm planting the seeds, like somewhere like from my life, and then somewhere where I'm not looking at it, maybe one of the seeds are growing. And then
Hmm.
when I'm yeah, when I need it the most, it might just come be, the fruitful result that I was looking. Maybe it gets difficult at times, surely, but it doesn't mean that the hard work that you're putting in, it like even if you can't see it right away, it doesn't mean that it's not yeah useful, I guess. So that's what I meant by like seize every opportunities. And like the friends that you reach out to one time, maybe like there'll be like a huge impact on how you lead your life afterwards.
Yeah, that's very
Wow.
meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. Um, Ploy is
Thank you. I
Ploy is
wasn't sure if
froze.
it's me or Ploy.
Yeah, Ploy froze a little bit, but it's fine. Well, really, thank you again for sharing that. And like our few last question, I want to ask
Mm-hmm.
you, give me a yes or no. Do you love
Mm-hmm.
UK? If so,
Oh,
then what make you really love UK?
I
London, sorry.
guess, yeah, I guess yes, but um, perhaps not the city on its own, but like the friends, the memories I've gotten to make from my year here so far. It's become something so personal and meaningful to me.
Wow, that's. I mean, I'm sure there are so many that you can share, but we're really running out of time.
Yeah, sorry,
But
I
yeah,
ramble a lot.
no, it's fine. It's
I'm a
like
yapper.
I'm really enjoying. You're yapping a lot. So before we like go and everything, let's do something lightheaded. What is your favorite UK food? London food.
Oh, okay. This subject has been, yeah, like a subject of mockery for so many times. I feel like my British friend has been mocked
Hmm.
by me for so long.
Why?
By like whenever they proudly present any British food, it's just never land. Like in the UK they have this really really big fast food chain, I guess it's called
Yeah.
Greg's. Here they have like a very big sausage roll culture, but basically
Hmm.
it's just that it's like a roasted roll, but they treat it like national treasure, and if you say anything bad about it, they will haunt you for the rest of your life. But sorry, that's not my favorite. I think my favorite thing is there's something that's called a Sunday roast,
What is
where
that?
basically it's, yeah, like the name suggests, it's like a roast, or they call it roast dinner. So it's usually consists of um like mashed potatoes, some sausage or like meat, some peas, lots of gravy. So like a true proper like English dinner, where like Sunday is where the families come together and then they roast dinner. Yeah,
Okay. Well, if I'm in UK, I'm gonna definitely look for one.
definitely try have one. Yeah.
What do you miss the most about Thailand?
I miss the food. Oh my God, I'm so basic.
Aw.
But
Oh.
I guess like it's not just Thai food actually. I think I miss the diversity and
Hmm.
the easy access to any cuisines, well, especially Japanese
Yeah.
in Thailand.
Oh, yes.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like my friend mocked me when I actually went back to Thailand once during my time in this year, and they were like,
Hmm.
"What are you looking forward to having?" I was like, "Oh, I was looking forward to having Japanese and Korean barbecue," and we're like, "No, what? Not Thai food?" And I'm like, you can actually find a lot of good Thai restaurants here in London. I feel like obviously it's not like the kaprao you have on street food in Yawarat. It's like you get enough of that, but I
Yeah,
guess like cheaper edible sushi roll is
Oh yeah.
definitely way, like very different here.
Oh my
totally.
god, I agree with you.
Mm,
And you know what, Cream? Let me just tell you something.
mm,
When we were like high school students, we used to go
yeah,
to like uh Japanese restaurant and they have like a
yeah.
unlimited green tea,
A
you know?
buffet, yeah.
No, like
Ooh.
just a
Green
refillable
tea,
green tea,
yes,
remember? And I would drink
yeah,
that green tea like 12 glasses per one sitting because
yeah.
like in Thai,
Because it's
like
free.
yeah, in Thai, bottle like water is usually not free. You need to buy like a
Mm-mm,
bottle of water. But when you get like a
mm-hmm.
refill green tea, I just eat it
Mm,
like a
make use of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to ask again, like, is water free in UK? Like, can you drink
Oh,
tap
yeah.
water?
Yeah, you
Oh,
can definitely drink tap water. However, I feel like especially recently in this year, there are news that the Thames Water, which is the provider of like the water system, is getting worse. And then there is like some rumor about how tap water is not being safe anymore.
no.
So yeah, so like at least like usually we don't drink directly from the tap. We would need like a filter, right? But for some people, even that is not enough. My boyfriend, for example, he would go to the extra miles of just like regularly buy big bottles of like 5 liters of water to, like for consumption, even though you can very
Oh,
well have tap water. So
oh,
yeah,
okay.
I don't know about in the next 5 years.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Final questions. Cream, can
Final
you like
question. Yes.
channel your most British version of yourself? And I love
Oh
to
my
hear you say
God.
this. I love to hear you say this word. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right
Oh
now,
my God.
uh,
Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't think I
I
can
will.
do it.
I just try. I'm giving you a script over there.
Nothing beats a jet. Okay, let me think.
Are you
Well,
ready?
how do they start it? How do they start it? Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can get 20% off, whatever that
Fif-
follows.
50, you can say 50
percent
pounds 50 pounds
per
per person.
person.
Oh
Per
my
person. Something like that. Oh
god.
my God. It's literally everywhere on social media.
Oh my god.
Constantly.
Oh my god. Cream, you did a really great job. For real.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you.
job.
All right.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for being in this
Thank
podcast with
you. Thank
us.
you, Timo. Thank
I
you,
hope you have
Floy.
like a good time.
I had such a good time.
Oh
I think I had
He's
so much
okay.
of a good
amazing.
time.
All right, again, Cream. I mean, I hope you get the best luck and you get whatever you're looking for. Is there anything
Thank you
you
so
like to
much.
like promote or like
Yes,
left
please.
back? Yeah, okay.
Actually, I've been looking forward to give a shot, give a little shout out to the side project that I'm trying to build.
Mhm.
It's something called Boundary Lab. You can find
Mhm.
that on our Instagram, boundary.lab. It's similar to the experience I described where sometimes people, from like interactions with people, sometimes they put you in like an uncomfortable situations, a bit of like a what the heck moments where you couldn't really exactly pinpoint what their intentions are, and sometimes it left you in a like in a way that like discomfort, or it could be harmful to like your professional career, or like your like self growth. So yeah, so it's like a something that we're trying to build. We really wanted to help young adults to better equip with boundary setting skills and hopefully better navigate the complexity of real life social situations. We're trying to build it into a business, but also a social enterprise where anyone can access the education for free. So yeah, please check out Boundary Lab, and
Ooh.
yeah, hopefully we can help at least one person out
Okay.
there.
Boundary.labs. Labs.
Boundary.lab. Lab. LAB, yeah. As
Oh,
in we're
okay.
experimenting this together. Yes.
Okay. Wow. We'll check it out for sure.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for giving
Thank.
me free PR.
Happy
Yeah.
too.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you again for being here, and
Thank you for having
have a good
me.
day, isn't it?
Yeah, have a good day. Good day, in
In
it.
it.
All right.
In
Yeah.
it.
Again.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Timo.
Let's say
Thank
this
you, Floy.
together. International
Yes.
pause. Okay. Three,
Yes.
2, 1. International
International
pause.
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 Yay.
Okay. Bye bye.